moving the camera because oh my god, we're knocking everything now. We're like knocking everything. I'm gonna move the camera and I'm gonna sit somewhere like this with door behind me. I do wish like I could have a better sort of like camera angle or like a better background, but sadly this house has just fallen to pieces, and this place is just not the nicest place to get a good angle. I mean, for starters, the curtains just absolutely, it needs replacing, to be honest, and it's just horrible. And then it's just wherever you put the camera doesn't look the best. There's a hole in the wall, and they won't come and do repairs. So what can you do when you report repairs and they don't come and do them? Yeah, so anyway, welcome back to another stream. I woke up this morning and I was just having like a general think, just thinking about things in general. And what came into my mind is that it's going to be 8 years this year since I sort of started this whole musical journey, if you like. And at first I thought, yeah, it's going to be 8 years. And then I thought to myself, I actually thought, yes, media podcast, big ups. And I sat there and I thought, and I actually thought, like, fucking hell, like 8 years is actually a long time. Like 8 years is actually quite a lot of years. So like you imagine, like I started this music in 2015. So imagine like a baby was born in 2015. Like legit, that baby would have like literally, or on a level, would have literally like grown up, started school, learnt to walk, learnt to talk, you know, developed all of its hair, had 8 birthdays. Do you know what I mean? But probably has a smartphone by this point. Goes to school. Probably even has a boyfriend at school. Even some people that age have gone on to like talent shows, and you know, and have gone on to like say Britain's Got Talent or say like The Voice Kids. It's a crazy when you start thinking about 8 years. 8 years has been an absolutely long time that you don't actually think about, and it just got me thinking. Like you know, just thinking back about kind of some of the things that's happened over the 8 years, which is absolutely crazy. And it's one thing as well, like with this music, that I remember like a lot of the things I've done, like quite fondly. So like even some of the early days, like I do remember like quite a lot of the stuff that I'd done, you know, and how sort of like I built myself up, and it feels really weird being sat here now and thinking like, you know, some of this stuff was like 8 years ago, 7 years ago, 6 years ago. You know, all of this stuff like feels like it was only yesterday, and now it's like literally 2 years off being like a decade away. Do you know what I mean? Like it's been a decade nearly since, you know, 10 years is a decade, which usually would be like from 2000 to 2010, but I guess like 2015 to 2025, you know, can still kind of be classed. That look, I've been doing this music stuff for a whole 10 years kind of thing. So I thought I'd come live and we'd just have a little bit of a sort of like a reminisce, and we'd sort of look back, and I'll probably ramble a bit. I'll tell some stories from the older days, and stuff like that, and sort of like how did it all begin for me? How did it all start for the likes of MC Noble? So technically in riots, I should technically, in a way, I've been going for 10 years. Technically, if you really want to class what I don't really class, or I never really know like whether to class it, so I always go from 2015. However, in 2013 was when I actually first got into DJing, and I started playing on virtual DJ, and sort of from there on on the Christmas of 2013, I got myself for Christmas. I got a DJ controller, so I got like a Tractor Control S2, and then I got like the software and all that put onto my computer at the time, and it began sort of like attempting to DJ, but it was only like a really short-lived kind of like thing. So I only did it for maybe like a matter of maybe 3 4 months or something like that. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe about half a year, and then I just sort of gave up, and I never really what you'd call like push myself out there too much. It was more just I enjoy this DJing thing. So I was having a mix at home, and then I sort of like February or something of like 2014, I made a page on Facebook to promote myself as a DJ. Started putting mixes up, and just essentially began on this like little music journey that was very short lived, because I actually got bullied for doing this sort of like attempting this DJing, and at the time I took a lot of the bullying to heart. I got a lot of joke bookings at the time, so when I'd been DJing for a little bit, there was quite a few like young people that said, "Oh, we want you to DJ our house party," and I got real excited, like a first gig for me. And then there was only joking, and they never actually even wanted me. And there was one moment that I fondly remember was when I got invited to DJ at a friend's house party, and it was a friend I'd known for years, and I thought we were quite good friends, we've known each other for years, and my mum was quite good friends with your mum for years, and was good friends with your dad, and we spent a lot of quite a bit of time together as a kid growing up, and you get older, and you sort of go on your separate ways, and she became kind of like I guess what you'd call like part of the cool girls, and I had like a gang of people sort of like at school, and hung around with all the lads and the lasses, and then me myself, I was just kind of that sort of like little odd kid that had been bullied, and she said, "Look, I want you to DJ my house party." And at the time, I only had the music software on a computer, so on like a big computer with a tower. And at the time, I needed like some form of laptop, and my nan took some money out to buy a laptop early, so I could literally get the software on this laptop. And at the time, I had no clue what I was doing with the software, so we paid a guy to put the software on. We bought a brand new laptop, and we just essentially got all ready for this gig. And the night before, I was going through like loads of tunes, like getting real excited, like it was the first thing for me. And then it even got to like an hour before the party on the day, and I hadn't heard anything. And then the next thing was like, oh, there's someone else doing it instead. And do you think we actually wanted you? And that was really happening at the time. So and that happened twice with two different people who played this, what they probably thought was a joke on me. It wasn't a joke. So I actually gave up and sold all the equipment, and went to college and learnt to fix motorbikes instead, which I didn't really want to do it. I think in the back of my mind, my passion was music, but then I just thought, maybe it's true what people say, like, a lot of people just start cut out for music, so just get a normal job like a builder or a mechanic or something. And then I thought, well, motorbikes is in our family, so it makes sense to go and fix motorbikes. And I absolutely hated the course. It was just absolutely horrible. And then in 2015, I came back to the music as MC Noble. So this is kind of why I always have that, like, do I class the journey from when I started as MC Noble, or do I start the journey from when I sort of like attempted to DJ for like half a year and then gave up? Do you know what I mean? And I went under an alias name called DJ Madhead at the time, and then someone we had like a little voting poll, and a few of my friends voted for the name to be changed, and I think I changed it to like DJ Raver or something like that, which, you know, horrible names at the time. And then obviously I just gave it up. So I've always kind of been sort of like unsure, like do I sort of class my musical journey, do I class that period as part of the journey, or do I just start from, you know, when I started as MC Noble? Because when I started as MC Noble, that was kind of when I like properly took it seriously, and I didn't give up this time. And that's obviously like where we've kind of sort of like what's headed to now, you know, to me sat in this chair now saying it's been 8 years. So I've essentially always just gone from 2015, but I do mention the sort of like previous year before where I was DJing, and then I sort of gave up because I thought, you know, it's maybe still worth noting. But when I think when I properly officially started was was in 2015. But you know, if you think like, you know, like I started in late 2013, then, you know, be my guest and tell me that, yeah, you know, you've started in late 2013. But other than that, I'm just going to say that it's been 8 years since. So, yeah, so it was late July, it was early August of 2015 when I one day wrote my own. Well, how it essentially started was I was on the PlayStation with a guy called Kyle, and I can't KDJ or something his gamer tag was at the time, and was playing Minecraft. I remember it fondly well because we was filming a YouTube series called Lost on an Island, and it was a bit like a role playing stroke like a survival playthrough on Minecraft, and we built this like little sort of like caved house, and we, you know, different things happened in like each sort of like episode. It was like a really, you know, it was like a fun thing. You know, welcome back to Lost on an Island. You know, and at the time I'd come home from college one night, and I'd hopped online and was about to go and, you know, film some episodes of the Lost on an Island. And then my friend was playing MC Pat Flynn at the time, who you probably heard of. He's like quite big in Ireland, and he does a lot of freestyling, and does a lot of like MCing over like deep house tracks. He's like he's like an Irish Bad Boy Chiller Crew, but he's like a solo. He does a lot of like deep house, and does a lot of like music videos where he's like saying the barber shop, and he's getting his hair cut, and he gigs at a lot of like teen discos. So he's kind of like attracted kind of like a young audience, which I suppose I kind of did at one point, which is what I wanted to move away from. But he was like quite big and well known, and my friend was playing him at the time. And I thought, you know, like this sounds quite good because I've always been into MCs, and I've always, you know, I was like growing up, I was a big fan of the Blackout Crew. You know, sort of in my late sort of in my late teens. Not late teens, sorry, in my like late, you know, when I was like sort of like 10 years old, sort of like upwards. I always remember fondly like being in the pub with my mum and putting like put a donk on it on the jukebox and stuff because it used to be on there. And I just remember like it was just you know, a big tune back then, and Clubland was still like at that era of like really blowing up with the sort of like annual CDs coming out. You know, Clubland 1, 2, 3. You know, all of them was coming out, and I just, you know, really remember it quite well. So I've always liked the MCing, and I was listening. I was sort of into this guy, and Kyle said, "Well," he said to me one day. He said, "Why don't you have a go at doing something like that?" And I just laughed. I just laughed at him and said, "Like, are you having a joke?" Because like at the time I was thinking like these people can flow fast over a beat. These people can spit over a beat. And these people just genuinely can do something that I never thought I would be able to do. Um, but I always liked it. So anyway, I sort of said like, yeah, no chance I'm going to start doing something like that. And but out of curiosity, I asked who the guy was, and I asked like where I could find, link to the video so I could listen myself. And I did. I listened, and I remember fondly because it was lyrics on the screen. So like someone had re-uploaded the Pat Flynn "Get on Your Knees" track, which is his biggest track, and they'd put lyrics on the screen. So they'd wrote all his lyrics out, so you could like read, and I guess you could like MC along if you like, sing along, whatever you want to call it. So I decided to start learning it just for a bit of fun because I thought, you know what, I actually quite like this song. It's quite catchy. And then I realised that this Pat Flynn guy had some more tracks, and I learned another one, which was Love Inside. And I thought, you know what, for a bit of a laugh, I'm going to put a video up of me doing this track that I'd learned. So I did. I put it up. Some people didn't know who it was, and some people knew that I just straight up spat someone else's bars. And some people was like, like, oh, this is mad, this is crazy, like, oh, yeah, yes, go on, Ash. That kind of thing. And it was quite funny. And then a couple of days later, I thought, you know what? I wonder if I could write my own. So I wrote my own little rap, and it was called To The Beat One Time. And I used the like a G6 instrumental, and I still fondly remember some of the lyrics as well. It was like, yo, to the beat one time, MC Noble to the beat one time. Um, Sort of like about a bike and coming off and scraping the right elbow. Came off a while ago, got a scrape on his right elbow. We got cocky to the cops. Now he's mixing beastie drops. Everybody knows that he's always raving, not always shaving. And something like that. And I didn't film myself at the time. I just put the camera down, and it was a black screen because I wasn't confident enough. And then suddenly, everybody like round, like who I'd gone to school with at the time, was all sharing it around, and all my mates were like all sharing it, like, oh, do a rap, do an MC, do a rap, rap, MC, blah blah blah. I'd come out and they'd ask me to rap an MC, and I didn't genuinely feel confident in doing so. And then like, I didn't want to do it at the time, and because I didn't really class myself, like it was just something I was just testing out for fun. And then I just got into it, and then like as I got into it, it was kind of like, give me 2 seconds, I think the door. She's not here. Yeah. A bit of what? No, I don't. I wouldn't know where it is. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll tell her you've called. Sorry about that, people. we had a knock at the door. You know how it is. Someone knocks, and I'm home alone at the moment, so I had no choice but to go and see. To go and see who it was. So yeah. So at the time, I was just like getting more and more into this, and then everything just went from there. Carried on writing, carried on uploading. Then began like trying to freestyle, so thinking like, can I actually like spit over a song without writing anything down and just rhyme words? And at first I wasn't too good at that, and then I just kind of sort of like kept at it, and that sort of improved. And then 2017 I got my first booking to MC at my local rugby club. It was a paid booking as well, so I was actually like proper like stoked about that. They gave me something like 25 quid just to like MC for half an hour. And at the time, I was still sort of like, I don't know, I'd be what, like sort of like 18, 19, maybe 19, 20 or something like that. Yeah, I think I'd be like 20 or something like that, but I was like proper buzzed. It was like a proper sort of like buzzing thing for me at the time, like, to say like, look, I've been able to like perform live. I was quite nervous, but I ended up like somehow managing to do it. and it was like a really enjoyable thing, and they got me like loads of beers in at the time, so I was like proper like yeah chuffed about that. And then like had a sort of like mooch into town and carried on like the party. I met a guy there. He was called Ben, and he was in a band as well, and he sort of like liked a little bit of like what I do, and just sort of decided that he was gonna like he wanted to record me, which was like a good thing. So long time no speak. Yeah, what you saying, bro? Long time no speak. So he offered to record me and said, look, we'll put like a little EP together. I'll record you. Got like a little studio set up at my house and stuff. So I went up to his house and recorded an EP called Back in '99, and then we had like a second EP that we did like quite a few months later down the line, which was called The Robbing Business, and things went on from there. So I did like I think I had like 3 EPs that I'd done. So there was Back in '99, there was The Robbing Business. Actually, no, there was actually five. There was actually five, I think. So there was Back in '99. There was The Robbing Business. There was Saturday is Rave Day, and then there was like I think it was 100% Hardcore Noble, and then there was Hardcore, and then there was just the original Hardcore Noble, and they were like MCing sort of like EPs. So it was obviously like a buzzing thing in that sense to you know to have these EPs. But yeah, but I did the Back in '99 and the Robbing Business I did with my friend, and then he emigrated to Australia, so he went and moved to Australia, and I think I've seen him once since, and he come back to visit, and he was quite drunk, and you know how it goes, and yeah, everything sort of spiraled on from there. Then I started like all the sort of like Neighbours Arse and stuff all came in, and loads of other tracks came in, like the Scarborough Beach. That was sort of like me, where I was starting to explode online and starting to get shared by other pages, and getting a lot of hate and bullying, but at the same time just getting like mega amounts of views on videos, and smashing in like 500,000 views or something like that, which was crazy. That I've had that amount of people like see me spit, listen to me like spit bars, and that was like a crazy thing in itself. And what I was gonna say is 2019 was when I started like really sort of like getting into the actual proper rave scene. Always been into rave music and stuff, and decided start attending raves, and some of the raves like Stomping was letting me grab the mic, and everything has all sort of like spiraled, and then lockdown that got me sort of to think, right, I want to get back into the DJing side of things. And then now we've got that flyer wall with all the posters. Jesus Christ, what can I say? So there we go. We're sat here now, 8 years on. So what can I say? Other than a massive thank you to everybody that has followed me over the 8 years. Like, I ain't going to sit there and say I've done like mega massive things. I even attempted and applied for Britain's Got Talent once. I ain't going to sit there and say I've done like mega mental things, but I've done some really good things like over the 8 years. A lot of I'd say that the memories I cherish a lot now are the more recent ones in the DJing side of things, but I definitely sort of like as a up and coming sort of like building myself up when I used to MC all the time, and there was some good times, and I had putting them videos up. They're not who I want to be anymore, like and I think like just getting all of that sort of like getting sort of all of that like negativity and hate just for the point of being on a big page and getting a lot of views was like nothing to me. And I'm quite old school, so I like prefer to be on the stage. I like prefer to be at a physical gig. rather than just being like an internet sensation. Like, you got people like MC Storm and MC Wizkid, and you know, they rock some of the biggest stages in hardcore up and down the country, and they have done for years. But you don't see them coming online like spitting freestyles and calling another MC out. You know, they're all professional, or you know, if they do write something, it's a proper like a studio recorded track. So that's kind of the route that I want to go down, and it kind of it was a tough one like to take, because you know, I lost a lot of support and a lot of views, whereas when I was putting them disses up and spitting the freestyles about the neighbour's ass, it was like, it was entertaining all the like, you know, 13, 14, sort of like upwards, even going as far as like 18, 19 year olds who you aren't ever going to see at an hardcore rave. You know, and they was all liking and sharing it and wanted to see me on the you know, the B Tech Grime Media, because that's you know, like, or BG, or what was it, B, or was it BGT Media or something like that. Do you know what I mean? They wanted to see that because that's sort of like what they're into. They want to see like Noble calling out the next MC, and you know, dissing his mum in a lyric video or something like that. And then when I went a little bit more professional, you know, a lot of them tuned out, and obviously started to, you know, they started to unfollow, which I had to sort of like sacrifice that, which I didn't mind doing, like, because I wanted to go into that more like professional world, and now I do get like, you know, regular bookings, and I am like happy, and I enjoyed it, you know, I obviously enjoy what I do. I just probably aren't as like well known and as big as I maybe was a couple of years ago, because I'm not getting shared on every like meme page, or you know, like big sort of like B Tech Grime page going. Do you know what I mean? Where it's gonna hit. You know, I was getting posted on Twitter at one point as well, and you know, absolutely blowing up. And you know, I've been posted on TikTok a few times, and even though like I've moved away from doing that kind of thing, like, more people like still tell me like, oh, you're that guy off TikTok, aren't you? So I still get it. It's like I still can't like completely get away from it, but because I'm not like still relevantly doing it, like, obviously, you know, the supporters kind of like have dropped. And you know, like, if I'm pushing anything new now, like a flyer for a booking or something on Instagram, like, doesn't get anywhere near as amount of likes as it did when I was like you know, like putting up a new freestyle. And even when I got my first track signed to Bounce Core Records as well, I put like a poll up on Instagram who's going to buy the track, and loads of people just weren't going to buy the track because you know, it's not a freestyle diss. You know, it's not being posted on the latest B Tech page, so it doesn't, you know, it wasn't interesting for them, that they thought, you know, I want to pay £1.50 for this. So there you go. But yeah, an amazing 8 years. I'll be doing an update stream to this at some point, like, because I want to do something to celebrate the 8 years. I just don't know exactly like what that is going to be yet. So just make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to share, all of that good stuff, and we'll see you soon.